Hi Seema,
Hey Sadi, how are you?
I'm good and you?
Doing great, and how is your day?
So far, so good. And how about your day?
Too much of work and I'm struggling with something.
Oh, how can I help you on that?
I have a daily task to split the data into multiple tabs. Is macro the only option?
We can use filter function to split the data instead of a macro. Let me show you how it is done.
Sure. Waiting for it.
Hey Seema, for your question, I'm taking a sample data from a Kaggle. Here we have a data of 2022 billionaires, and this is based on the Forbes data that we have. Before we get into how to split the data into multiple tabs without using a macro, let's convert this data range into a power table. I'm selecting it and pressing the Control T button or key, Control T, and I'm gonna say my table has a headers. Okay, I'm changing the style to a normal style, and I'm gonna rename this table name to data. And now let's say you want to split this data by gender, and here on gender we have male, female and few blanks. Let's not look at blanks for now. Let's concentrate only on male and female category. So let's open up a couple of columns. Oh, sorry. Let's open a couple of sheets. Let's call this as M, and here let's call it as F. And I'm going to copy the headers from the sheet 1. I'm going to paste it here on B2. Again, I'm going to paste it on B2 on the sheet F. Now let's go to sheet M, and on B3 let's write a formula. Fil filter, and here it's asking for an array. Now that the array is nothing but our table and I have given a name, I'm calling up that name and include. So what are we going to say here is what is the condition that we are going to use to split the data or to filter the data. So here my condition is on the column gender. So I'm picking up the column gender, I'm saying it is equal to M, and then a comma. If empty, I'm just saying open bracket and close bracket. I'm sorry, open quotes and close quotes and close the bracket. By hitting enter, I'm able to see the data, and you will see all the data that is pertaining to male in gender column. You will be able to see it. And to make it easier, I'm going to copy the same formula, Control C, going to the F sheet, and I'm going to paste the same formula. Instead of an M, I'm going to change it to an F. When I hit enter, you will see the column P, which is gender, will show me only data that is pertaining to female. So now let's look at few additional things that we have. Uh, for example, if you look at the data in male, we have 2341 records, and similarly in female we have 311 records. Let's make a pivot out of this data, and probably let's see if our numbers are matching. Gender and count of persons. The female data count is 311 and the male uh, data count is 2341. It perfectly matches. So now the question is, what if the data increases? Probably this month you might have data until row number 3000, and tomorrow or next week you might have the data until say 7000 or even 10,000. So we are going to check how this formula is going to help us. I'm copying the data exactly the same, and I'm going to paste it just on the bottom to make sure the data is doubled, and I can go to this pivot. When I refresh it, the numbers change, and if you look at it, for male we should have 4682 records. I go to male and I just have to count 4682 records, and when I go to female, if you look at it, it is 622, and it is perfectly matching with the count here. So if we have a set of data that we are going to get it, and we know that we are going to split the data with certain parameters, then we could definitely use the filter formula to kind of split the data, and we don't need a macro to it. If you have any questions, please drop a note on the comment section and I'll be happy to assist.